We here. We here. We finally here. What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Man, you already know this is the pre-snap read. And you already know we got my boy Jerry Goodson in the house. And we got the lovely Robin McGee in the house.
Hey.
Shoot, you already know. And I had to bring a special guest on. So, I had to call him up. I had to, hit the hotline. And guess what? I got that boy Kofi Hemingway.
What's up? Let's go.
Hey, Kofi.
Hey.
Did he go out?
I came back. I came
No, he
back.
came back.
I came back. Yeah, I came back. I had a little bit technical difficulties, but I came back. And shoot, where
I feel
Jerry
like
go?
that's like the mood or the theme for these
Yeah,
past,
yeah. These
these past
past
days we
yeah
having some
these
difficulties.
these past couple of days, man, we've been having some school been having some technical difficulties. I mean, I don't know if it's a lot, I don't know if it's a little, but we've been having some technical difficulties, but we about to get the recent news, the recent update we got this week. Is the FAMU athletic compliance. We got a couple players back. We got a couple players back, so everybody can calm down just a little bit, but not a lot.
But
Everybody
can
can
we
calm down.
though? Because why is this even a thing? That's where I'm at. I don't. I'm gonna keep it valid that some players were able to come back, but it's not all of them. And I just feel like why are we in this predicament in the first place? But to introduce the topic, let's just start from the top. If everybody doesn't know, the FAMU Rattler football players, 26 of them. So now we're going back last weekend when FAMU was about to play UNC one day, 24 hours prior to them loading on the bus, heading down to Chapel Hill. They received a notice saying that 26 of their players were ineligible to compete. Now, this list kind of stems from different things, whether it's academic, whether it's transfer eligibility, all of those things kind of played into the reasoning why those 26 players became ineligible and were not able to compete. Now, if you guys didn't know, FAMU was on the brink of not competing at UNC, right? And they were going to lose out on about $450,000. So they ended up going. I was at the game. It was a great game considering 26 players weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's just kind of dive in on what's going on at FAMU. Where are we? Kofi, what are your thoughts? Let's start with Kofi. Yeah,
Kofi, line him up, Kofi. Line him up, Kofi.
It's sick. It's sick.
I have so many thoughts. I have been talking about this ever since it happened. As they say on When Doves Cry, dig, if you will, a picture. I was dropping my daughter off to go on a trip and in Tallahassee because I live in Jacksonville. And so I was getting ready to go get some breakfast and then head back to Jacksonville. I was like, let me ride by the stadium. So this was about 10:30-ish because I just want, you're a Rattler fan, you want to see what's going on and
right.
See what's going on with the see what's going on with the upgrades and all that other stuff. And,
right.
I rode by the stadium and I saw the Astro buses still there. I was like, that's interesting. Right. Why is the Astro buses still
Why
here?
is it still there?
It's supposed to be gone. That's interesting. So then I couldn't, I got about halfway up the road up Osceola, heading towards Canopy Rose Cafe. And
oh yeah,
they said, hey, Kof, man, you heard what's happening? I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, are you driving? I was like, yeah. It's like, do you want to pull over? It's like, man, what? We don't want you to blow a gasket, man. We don't want you to blow a gasket. Like, now you about to get me to blow a gasket because I'm trying to figure out, like, why are you talking to me like this and everything? Man, they done came up here, and now 26 players are gonna be ineligible for the game. Now, I wanted to say that I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. And the reason I wasn't surprised is because we've been talking the whole time about them having one compliance officer over the last 6 months, you know, and the mere fact that they didn't have somebody certified in athletic compliance demonstrated a lack of urgency regarding it. And so obviously, you know, I just went numb. But of course, when the first call comes, here comes the second call, then comes the third call, then comes the fourth call. Because we know, Kofi, you know, look, I don't know everything that's going on. I'm trying to eat my breakfast. I got an omelet here with a nice little skillet, some you know, some bell peppers and some sausage and some pancakes and stuff. Let me finish my food, and then I'll begin to digest what in the world is going on. So I'm sitting up there, and the longer I thought about it, of course, everything that could possibly go through my mind went through my mind. So what the first thing that went through my mind was Larry Robinson.
Right. There it is.
And the conversations that we've had personally via email and in person. And one of the things that I told Dr. Robinson basically face to face is your legacy is going to be defined by how you manage athletics. Your legacy, academically, amazing. He stabilized the university. In fact, that's largely the reason why he got put in the position as president. He stabilized the university, got FAMU to a spot where we're meeting our metrics, doing what we're supposed to do, staying out of the newspaper.
Right.
Everything's hunky-dory. U.S. News and World Report is giving us all these ratings. We're the #1 public HBCU. All of these accolades. What could possibly be the issue? Well, we've been talking about the issues because, you know, athletics has been an issue for some time. If this were the first time this happened, you know, you probably be like, well, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
By now, we should be experts. By now, we should have understood what in the world was going on. And, you know, so that was the first thing. So I'm looking at Larry because, again, this administration has a tendency not to move until it's a national crisis.
There it is.
Okay. And it's a shame, you know, because these people are getting paid lots and lots of money to look out for the well-being of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, but they don't move until it's a crisis. You know, now, while I was mad at Larry Reed, while I was mad at, sorry, not Larry Reed, Larry, you know, I said Larry, so I know Larry Scott, Larry Reed,
Larry
Robinson. While I was mad at Dr. Robinson,
right.
I had to do some introspection here because Rattler Nation failed, and I'm a part of Rattler Nation.
Yes.
And the reason why we failed is we also saw that last year before we played Jackson State, we had 11 to 15 players out. We lost by 1 point.
Right.
Yeah.
We had this. So we felt the pain of that all year long. You know, people talking trash, XYZ. We were wondering what might have been. We should have been more proactive about making sure that this never happened again.
Yes. And
to do that, you say, well, how can we do that, Kofi? We don't work for the university. Well, what you can do is say, Mr. AD, you know, what can we do to help? What specifically do you need? Because we noticed that this happened. We want to know why this happened. Well, no, we don't need a one-on-one conversation. Do you mind if we schedule a town hall? Because Rattler Nation freaking cares. Yes. Can we schedule a town hall? We got a whole journalism school. This would be good work for them. And we want to create a culture of transparency so that communication is there. We realize that people make mistakes. We want to know why this happened. We want to know where we are now, and we want to know where we are going with this. Okay, we need to understand, because this is embarrassing. We can't afford to go through another NCAA crisis. Well, you know, that was the first thing. This happened last year. Then we had the whole APR scores, right? We didn't finish 50th in the nation. We didn't finish 100th in the nation. We finished dead last.
Yes.
You would have thought that Rattler Nation would have been up in arms. Hey guys, no. Oh, President Robinson's nowhere to be found. He's not making a statement. You know, Coach Simmons came up and gave, you know, his spiel and was accountable. And Mike Smith has said some things, but the one we haven't heard from was Dr. Robinson. Okay, about how we're going to fix this issue, what this is, because APR. The letter A, raise your hand if you know, people. Raise your hand if you know. The letter A stands for what, people? Raise your hand if you know. A and APR. Raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Huh?
Academic.
Acca-freaking-demics.
I know this whole period.
Okay. It stands for Acca-freaking-demics. Acca-freaking-demics. Academics.
Yeah.
Guess who's over academics at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University? Raise your hand if you know, people.
Yep.
Yes, man. Let's go.
Ain't it that person named Dr. Larry Robinson?
That's his name, Dr. Larry Robinson. My God, you're absolutely right. We are 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
We got 2 for 2.
Come on, people. All right. So why do we expect our coach to handle academic issues? Why do we even allow the AD, you know, at this point, right, to be totally in command of academic issues? Because guess what, Dr. Robinson? Y'all have had your hands in every freaking thing else, which is largely why Courtney Gaucher wasn't able to accomplish a lot of things that he wanted to accomplish. But you had your hands in everything else but the academic portion, which you totally had control over.
Right.
It's ridiculous. All right. So let's go and mose it down to this next part, because again, you know, we put all of these expectations on in the wrong place. And Rattler Nation, you know, again, the reason why we're so to blame, partially, a lot of this is on us, is because we've allowed this to go for so long. We've been complacent. Not only have we been complacent, we've been toxic. We love gossip. We love to find out who's sleeping with who's doing who ain't doing what. We love to talk about it. We run the social media. We put likes on there. We run back and forth. What is being done?
Yeah.
We didn't demand accountability from Dr. Robinson. The whole National Alumni Association convention came to the Heights of Seven Hills. We had an opportunity to address it then. We didn't do it. So now we're here in the middle of a mess. You know, it's like, if you don't deal with the mess will deal with you.
Yeah.
The reality is, you know, because I've heard people all weekend, you know, and I want to grain this in. You cannot change what you don't confront.
Yeah.
You cannot confront what you don't identify. By now, with all of the merit scholars that FAMU has had, with all of the success and smart people with the GPAs and ACT and SAT scores, one of us, some of us should have identified that this was going to be a whole issue.
Well, I want to also chime into here, Kofi, that this has been an issue, like you said, from last year, but even like from 2019, where
going.
it was the whole post-season ban. And even
Keep
prior
going.
to that, I
Keep
know.
going.
And
Keep
that's what
going.
I'm like, at what point is it that we need to identify the problem? Like, totally hold what you're saying and validate that. Identifying the problem is one thing, right?
Mhm.
We know partially what the issue is, as we can talk about it like here on this little show. It's really evident at this point. It's public knowledge. When at one point are we going to put people in the position to fix said identified problem?
Stop right there. All right. Because again, you're talking about Rattler Nation is divided into, I want to say, states or tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The highest of 7 hills.
Highest of 7 hills, just all of Rattler Nation. The global unit known as Rattler Nation has tribes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. The leader of Rattler Nation right now is Dr. Larry Robinson. Okay. As in the movie Black Panther, what we need is a Killmonger Negro to come up and say, "Is this y'all king? Is this your king?"
No, but that's facts though.
No, I'm after the throne.
I get it. No, I get it because they need somebody to challenge.
Let's get it. I'm after the throne.
Yeah, they're complacent. I get it.
No,
I get where you're coming from.
Y'all comfortable up in here as Killmonger. Y'all comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I get that.
You know, is this your king?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're afraid to lose, you know, people that are not performing.
Yeah.
And consequently, we've nurtured a culture of complacence and mediocrity.
Yeah.
Jerry, and then I'm gonna finish my thought real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead.
I completely agree. I think we do have to, you know, get things on a good foot. You know, it's been a long time since you know, athletics has been on a good standpoint as far as academics. It's time we got to put some changes into place, get some right people in, and get things going on the right foot. I completely agree with everything you're saying, Kofi.
You know, so it's really on us. We've literally nurtured a culture of complacency. Mm-hmm. We've allowed it, which says that we're okay with Dr. Robinson not doing anything. We're okay with him getting, you know, the board of trustees gave this man a 4.8.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get him
without even evaluating.
No,
athletes.
because they're going off of face value. They're going off of, you know, all the highs and the positivities and the things that FAMU has done well, which rightfully so, kudos to you. But the things that have been going wrong in my irritation is the same things we've already addressed. These aren't new issues that we're faced with. It's a continuation of what was never really remedied from the previous years. Right. And it's like...
Right. So this is the thing. This is the thing. How many times have we seen somebody not produce at FAMU only to get moved to another department or another side of the university?
All the time.
You understand?
Too much.
Does it all the time.
Too much.
Like,
and I don't want to say no names.
I have the gift of let go. Like, you know, you cross me or you mess up, and be like, you know, it's okay. I immediately recategorize you. I put you in a totally different category. Yes. This whole I'm irreplaceable mentality that's in financial aid, the irreplaceable mentality that's in the administration office needs to go. All of Rattler Nation needs to be like, you must not know about me. You must not know about me. I can have another you in a minute. Matter of fact, he'll be here in a minute. Baby, you must not know about me. You must not know about me. Don't you ever.
It is Virgo season.
Don't you ever get to thinking you're irreplaceable. To the left, to the left.
In the closet, that's your stuff.
What I will say, he did say he's hiring some new people soon. So I think the main issue is just letting it go so long without it being addressed, without putting new people there. Because if they're understaffed, they have to eventually get new people there to help out. Because they've been
get
understaffed.
new people, but it's another thing to get new people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Say that.
Just because you get a whole new staff doesn't mean that they're going to do this job properly. Because I feel like we talked about this last time. It's like they have a lot of mess to clean up. You're not coming into an institution that has their S together. Like they have their stuff. We don't have our stuff together. So you have to hire someone that's not only able to do the job that they are qualified to do, but to clean up the mess that other individuals had started, never fixed, and then additionally move us forward. That's a lot. So you have to like, I feel like they are so quick to be like, okay, we're going to get a new set of faces, new set of eyes, perspectives. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But then when they actually get in these roles, they're not doing the work that's necessary to fix and move forward with the problems that's already existing. And that's where they need to start. In addition, I want to bring it to a point where, like you said, Kofi, you said that, you know, Dr. Robinson has his hands in everything, right? Except what he needs to have his hands in. I will agree to an extent that, yes, Dr. Robinson, he's overhead of the academics, right? But I know firsthand from institutions who take their athletics seriously, not academics, their athletics seriously, they have people in place that are going to help their academic progress. They have people like literally their title are called academic success for student athletes, not for the student at large, but for specifically student athletes. We don't have that. And we can go into this conversation of, oh, we don't have enough money. We don't do that. Whatever. Don't give me that BS. Because y'all get money and y'all use it on the things that you don't need to use it for. And then we have these problems that are still here. And I'm like, why don't we hire somebody that actually oversees the progress of our student athletes academically?
You're hitting on it because, again, come homecoming, right? We raise millions of dollars.
Stop
it's
it.
23 million. At least that's what they said. It was.
That's what they say.
And who's our deal with? Just as a recap, who do we have a deal with athletically?
Nike.
Not Nike.
Not Nike. It can't be Nike, Kofi. You're lying to me.
Right.
Nike.
Man.
Stop.
But, you know, so
go ahead,
everything is not bad, but right now we should be really upset and upstirred. And we should not allow our anger to kindle until we see the right change. Right now, we're in the midst of this whole search for an AD. Yeah. You know, for me, I'm like, okay, it's obvious we need an expert. We need somebody that has been there, you know. So it's pretty cut and dry based off what I saw from the candidates. It was only really one that served as the AD and one that successfully raised millions of dollars, one that successfully built facilities. You know, let's look at this now, right? This is how complacent we are. Okay, let's look at the FAMU track. Mm-hmm. The track itself is absolutely nice. I think that the track, you can run on it, you can skip on it, you can flip on it, you can do all those little things, right?
Right.
All right. But how are you going to host an event that generates revenue with one restroom?
Oh.
How are you going to generate revenue with no concession stands? How are you going to host any? What are we laughing at? How are you going to host an event?
He said, "What we laughing
at?"
How are you going to host an event with, you know, that little bit of aluminum stands that's right in front of the band building and stuff? Who's going to sit over there and pay to go sit over there?
In the trap house.
Wait, who going to sit over there? Who's going to pay to go and sit over there in the hot sun with no concessions, and one restroom? One water fountain now. How are you going to generate revenue? We've been so sleep and demanding excellence from a track program. And we got them kids out there running on stuff like that. Or, you know, we haven't hosted an event in years, and now I see why. I'm like, wow, our track looks like an inner city school's high school football stadium.
Mm.
It looks raggedy. It is not equivalent of a Division I program with the legacy that we have.
Yeah.
And we wonder why we don't have championships. We wonder why North Carolina A&T is ranked XYZ in the nation in track, because they freaking care.
Mm.
Yeah.
They have somebody in the AD position who is experienced, who's raising money, who understands what to do. And it's not a fight. All right, I'm shutting up for a minute.
I know.
Shoot.
Listen.
Robin.
It gets heavy, and and hopefully from here we'll eventually get where we need to be, guys. Let's just.
Hey, Robin, I'm gonna put my two cents in. Either get your ass together, get your ass to stepping. That's one of the two. Get your ass together, or get your ass to stepping. That's all I need to say. Get your ass together, get your ass to stepping. Shoot, but hey, man, we about to start these games on. I got a special guest, man. I did some last minute pulling. You know, it's really not rivalry week, but this is a rivalry in the making. So, you know, I got a special guest that's coming on the show, and you know, he's from across the water. He over there, vendors and everything, and he JSU everything, JSU out, and you know, I got the boy Zoe from Tiger Talk 1400 to come in and talk to us today, man, about these couple of games, especially about the FAMU game that's coming up. What's up, Zoe? What's up with you?
What's going on, man? Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How y'all doing this evening?
All right, how are you?
Fantastic. How are
Doing
you?
pretty good, man. Thanks for asking.
I'm doing good. So, go ahead, Robin. Let's start talk about these two games last week that we saw.
Yeah, so I was actually at the game, FAMU versus UNC, go Rattlers. You know, considering that we did have 26 players that was ineligible and were not on the field, we didn't die. You know, like we stayed afloat for the longest, had some good plays in there. Zoe, you want to take away and talking about some great plays that maybe you would have saw during the game and things like that?
Well, excuse me. Yeah, I actually got to tell you guys, there was a lot of good to see from it. You know, there were a lot of good takeaways. I know a good portion of it too is the fact that, you know, North Carolina was vanilla, but even with that, there are still some good takeaways you could take from it, because at the end of the day, whether you look at the pros or the cons, I always say the thing that works for you is the same thing that works against you, being that it's the first game of the year.
Yeah.
You know, now I think sometimes too, when we talk about the ineligible players, I put an asterisk beside it, because it's a big deal, obviously, but on the field, it didn't really show its head, because majority of the guys that were ineligible, they weren't starters. I think they were down 3 or 4 starters. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not privy to the amount of guys who were backups who were ineligible, who probably would have got on the field anyway. So that's the only thing I'm not privy to. It's just the optics of it, you know, look bad. But outside of that, you know, the one thing that stands out is Musa. No one could deny how well he looked. And that's regardless of what North Carolina was playing, because again, you have to look at it being that it was the first game of the season, brand new offense, brand new team. You know, with a whole new set of teammates. And he looked good. 10 different receivers he hit, you know, with only 10 completions. That's a good ratio no matter what game of the year it is, from the first game to the last game. I think Xavier Smith, being that it was his first game of the season, he actually, you know, put some good things on tape as well. The only thing that was glaring to me, and it kind of sticks out because the main thing when you talk about the ineligible players is Isaiah Land. And the only thing that really sticks out when I say his name is that you really didn't see a good pass rush, you know, in that first game. But it's not something that you can sit there and say it's a litmus test that's going to define the whole entire season, because, again, it's the first game. And every team made their biggest jump between the first game and the second game. So, you know, I always say that you'll really know what you have by game number 3. So it's too early. I wouldn't say to any Rattlers to sit here and hang your head and think that, you know, what all you saw that first game is going to be the exact thing you're going to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah. And just to kind of touch on that, like, and everybody can kind of chime in on this, is what, now that we've gotten the first game out the way, is what you guys are looking forward to in the next couple of games now that we've got our feet wet. You know, we have Miami coming up to this Saturday, right? This Saturday.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it's Saturday and
Um,
Saturday.
You know,
We're
Orange.
gonna be down there.
Yeah, so it's like, what are you guys looking for from the Rattlers? You know, JSU, hey yo. you can be biased if you need to, though. I don't mind.
I'm good. I'm unfiltered.
So, I guess I'll go first. I'm just looking for, just to be honest with you, more scoring. You know, both the teams are reloaded. Both for the offense is, you know, to caliber now. You know, you got in, like Zoe probably attest to this, just like you got a new offense coordinator. So you really don't know what you're going to get when the defense and Jackson State offense step on the field. You really don't know what you're going to get. And you got to make those second half adjustments, or, you know, second quarter adjustments, you know, when you see certain things or when you see certain passes. So then, you know, with FAMU, you know, having Jeremy back there is a totally whole different offense. It's not we're just going to drive the ball down the field 5 yards here, 5 yards there. It's okay, we're going to get it to anybody that's open, anybody that's downfield, and we're going to move the ball, and we're going to have over 200 yards of passing, and we're going to have a rushing game and attack with those 3 to 4 running backs. So, you know, just that count on that, how many athletes are going to be on the field. 22 athletes. I'm counting the offensive line and defensive line as far as athletes, because, you know, they are a part of the core key of making this game work. So I know it's going to be more points scored. It's going to be over 21 points scored from each side.
For me, I think I can see Jeremy having a great game. I do see a lot of points on the board. I do see points on both sides. You know, I think FAM is actually going to outscore, of course, Jackson State. But, you know, the way that Jeremy played against Carolina's defense, it's very. I'm looking forward to what he's going to do in our conference, because with that being the program that it is and the history that they have, the way he did 28 for 38 for 279 for 2 touchdowns, and the interception that he threw was on the last minute interception in the first half. I expect Xavier Smith to build off that first game to have more than 10 receptions, to have over 100 yards. He had 10 receptions for 78 yards against Carolina, so I think he will do even better, you know, against Jackson State. Cause it's some plays he did out there, man, that it was ESPN highlights. Like, he breaking people down. But yeah, I expect it to be a really good game, a high-scoring game. But we'll see how the outcome goes.
I don't think it's going to be high-scoring.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I know we hyped on Musa and we love Shadur, but, you know, it takes a while to get these things going. And, you know, I think that, you know, obviously I respect both defenses that are really, in my opinion, FBS caliber. The game is on Sunday. So, you know, as we prepare, it's going to be prime time. It's not prime time, but it's going to be on ESPN2. So I'm looking forward to that aspect of it. But to me, it comes down to the little things called, and it's not a little thing, I'm being sarcastic. It's called turnovers. You know, I think the team that generates turnovers or the team that commits turnover, wins the turnover ratio, is the team that's going to win the game. You know, I think that, you know, obviously, if you know anything about football and big games, the thing that causes blowouts really to occur is turnovers. You know, even if you look at the Prairie View game with Jackson State last year in the SWAC championship, the game was close till Prairie View kicked the ball off to that boy and let that man run down the sideline, and Memorial's going crazy. Then he throws an interception or a pick six, and it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying?
They done got it started.
Yeah. They lost the game with that. South Carolina State didn't make those mistakes. South Carolina State won the turnover ratio, And that's how they won the game. They are able to take the turnovers and convert those turnovers into points.
Right.
You know, they didn't kick to the prolific punt returner and kick returners at Jackson State. They didn't kick to them. It was like, no, you ain't getting the ball, buddy. Drive down the field. Let me see you do it.
Right.
You know, and they were extremely physical. So, you know, I think it's just a matter of, again, I think turnover ratio is going to be the thing that decides it.
Well, for me, I think I'll extend onto that. Just standard football 101. I think whoever wins the turnover battle would obviously win the game, regardless of how offense or defense are playing. But the one thing that's going to stand out for me in this particular game is the fact that these two schools are loaded with athletes. I would go on record to probably say these two teams have the most athletes, you know, on each other's roster on the field at one time, be it offense or defense, and when they flip. With that being said, I believe that the main thing is going to be, you know, turnovers as well as special teams, because again, punt returns on either side, kickoff return on either side, because I think, I believe, and I'm not even going to say this for Jackson State, I believe one of the two teams will get a special teams touchdown, whether it's a punt return or a kickoff return, because these two teams are kind of mirrors. But the one caveat I believe that Jackson State have, and that we will have over every team we play in this conference, is people know about how deep this wide receiver room is, but I don't really think they truly understand the depth of it. Because even if you were to take the best defensive backfield, which I believe we have, but even if you look at any of the SWAC team, even if you go 2 to 3 deep, you know, no defense that we play is going to be press man their whole entire game, because you can't, because of the depth of the wide receiver room that we have. And so you're talking about we're playing 8, 9, 10 receivers deep. I mean, no one, let's be real, nobody in the SWAC has a 5th and 6th DB that's going to match up with our starters. Just doesn't happen. You don't even have that on the Power 5 level. And that's why I believe that we have an issue. But to combat that, that's where the O-line comes into play, because, again, none of what I'm saying makes sense if the O-line is not better. If our O-line blocks like we believe that they will this year, no one that we play will be able to play man against us all year. It just will not happen. Now, I'll ask, is there any any defensive coordinator in this conference who has the discipline to say, I'll play zone for an entire game? I don't believe nobody has the discipline to do it. So I believe that's where we have a great separator of talent is our wide receiver room. And we have, returning quarterback. Musa's good, but also we'll see, it's a litmus test, because he'll be on the fire this particular game, because we're going to blitz him like crazy. So if he can do the blitz and not have any turnovers, then I think the game will be close. If not, I think it'll get away from him.
Well, I think one of the things is, if you notice how the teams upgraded in the SWAC, it was interesting to note that FAMU actually had 25 defensive backs. A couple of them actually transferred out and went to other institutions because we had 25 defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Bill Belichick that said you can never have enough corners.
Yep.
You can have the numbers. It comes down to scheme first, and then execution of that scheme.
Right.
Your ability to put something out there on the field or put your players in the best possible position to have success, and then can they execute it? Can you take the athleticism or the skill set of what's there, and can they execute what you want? A few years ago they wanted to run the 3-4, but we didn't have 3-4 personnel. I know 3-4 is the popular defense, but do you have the personnel to run a freaking 3-4? If not, get out of the 3-4 and do what your personnel is going to have success with. And so it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Smitty has schemed for this offense. It's going to be interesting to see how our offense matches up against Jackson State's defense, to see what adjustments we've made. I know that the teams that were able to run the ball against Jackson State consistently gave them problems. From Delta State, and even looking at the stats last year, FAMU averaged 4.5 yards a carry versus Jackson State, but they tried to throw the freaking ball. So that was very upsetting to me, especially in a one-score game. They averaged 4.5. Delta State was able to run the ball pretty good. Southern University was able to run the ball. And of course, South Carolina State was able to run the ball, but they were not only able to run the ball, they also had Shaq out there out wide, Shaq Davis, who could push the ball deep and catch the ball. So being able to do both, being able to exhibit balance is what FAMU really has to do without, of course, winning the turnover ratio. And that's what I believe is going to be the deciding factor in the game. Last year, I said it was going to, our season was going to come down to special teams. You know, and it's amazing that in the opening game, we had a blocked field goal that would have been the difference in the game. Against Alabama A&M, we allowed a 4th and 6 from the 20-yard line. We allowed them to convert that. And then, of course, in the playoff game, we allowed them to run right up the middle during a field goal. And it was like, people, that was one fake field goal. Then they ran another fake punt. That was 14 points that we gave off a special team. That determined our success. And I think, you know, in a nutshell, that was largely why Coach Simmons made the moves that he made with special teams, with our special teams coach, to do what needed to be done. And he understands. I mean, we got 25 DBs for a reason, because we're going to need all of them probably come this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a little bit, because we did want to kind of mention the Bama State and Howard game. Some of us chose Howard. Some of us chose Alabama State to win that game. I would just like to say Eddie Robinson made his debut.
Who in the world chose
Hey, don't hide
Howard?
now,
Who
Howard.
runs
Him?
the ball playing
Wait,
Howard?
He did.
Man,
I know. I
sorry.
chose Alabama State. I wanted to give that new coach an idea. I wanted to give him credit.
Let me tell you. So I'm thinking, okay, they got some new swagger. You know what I'm saying? They've been in the little conference. So I'm like, okay, they got some weight underneath the belt from last year. You know how the last year's season. You know, everybody talking. We don't care about football. We don't care about athletics. So I'm like, okay, the football team should be pumped. You know, then having that record in the MEAC as far as beating the SWAC, I took that to account. I was like, hey, I'm going HU. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, HU ain't for everybody. I can tell that, and it wasn't for me because I definitely didn't have the grades to go there. So that's why I went.
Right. I'm gonna say this though, right? So Howard had opportunities.
They did.
I believe that they called again the wrong game. I would say they overcoached.
Stop running.
Run the ball. I don't know. I know in a day where we see all kinds of exotic pass plays, we see short passes, long passes.
Yes.
We got Patrick Mahomes. At the end of the day, football is still football. If I get 3 and 4 yards of carry, guess what? I need to run the ball. You burn the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, don't be sitting up here talking about HU. You bet your life on Howard. Let me see you bet $1 million on Howard. You talk
That
about
was-
this.
that was
Nobody
yeah.
betting on Howard. Sorry.
Hey, Ron, to comment on what you talking about.
Betting
man,
on
they got
Howard.
new gear. Man, you can dress up much you want to, man. You're the same person on all them clothes.
I see that.
You're the same
No,
person.
but Howard, for
I
real,
thought they was
on the
gonna have a
real,
little jump man
Howard
on
could
it.
have won the game.
They
didn't.
really could have. They had a block punt. They couldn't tackle a soul. That boy looked like Michael Vick back there. I thought.
Plus, you got to remember the overturned touchdown call. That was huge for them. But the main thing before then, they had 2 possessions, you know, that they really should have scored, and the interception was really, really bad for them. I think the highlight of the game, I agree with Kofi. Number 1 was they stopped running the ball. They were averaging almost 5 yards a carry. They stopped running the ball, but then number 2, you can't have a freshman in his first start outplay a seasoned upperclassman. You cannot have that happen. And I think had Howard's quarterback even played just an average game, I think, you know, they had better results and they win that game. But they stopped running the ball. Like, they were actually doing well. But and then again, the weather delays, they hurt too, because, you know, it's hard to gain momentum, stop, gain momentum. You know, I remember, I think I saw where the team had their pregame meal like at 3 o'clock, and the game didn't end like after 1. You know, so And it was that third stoppage when they called it. You know, it was hard for them, for either team, I believe, to really get a good feel and good start, especially in the first game of the season. You know.
Yeah, that was all the more reason they should have kept things simple and ran the freaking ball. The weather was bad. It was rainy. You know, his first game. Keep it simple. It's okay.
I was in that monsoon too.
Run your bread and butter plays. The running plays are always your bread and butter plays that you learn first in camp. So stick to that. I 100% agree with that.
Definitely. So, well, let's go into this week's game, guys. You know, we got a couple of games that's going on this week. We got the MEAC. Go ahead, Robin. Run it down for us.
Okay, so first off on the MEAC side, we have South Carolina State at UCF. Oh,
ugly already.
It's 3-28. That's ugly. So go ahead.
Not 3-28. Why y'all do South Carolina State? Are you saying South Carolina State is gonna do 3 or
no? They got 3 right now.
Oh,
it's ugly already.
It's ugly already.
Oh, it's going on.
What's the score?
3-28.
28 to 3.
Oh, that's live. Wow.
Yeah,
that's right.
2 days.
Damn.
That's right now. Literally right down the highway from me right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
understood. Blessed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let them have a great rest of the game. Norfolk State at Marshall, 3:30 on Saturday.
That's gonna happen. The same thing tomorrow too. Yeah. Keep going.
Yep. Morgan State at Georgia Southern. I don't know too much about Georgia Southern. Do we feel like they're going to beat Morgan State?
Georgia Southern's going to stomp Morgan State. Keep
Yeah,
going.
they are. Yeah, keep going.
Howard at Hampton. Oh, that's a good
the battle.
That is not going to be a good game. You should.
Howard not going to run the ball.
Do not bet on
I'm
Howard.
going to Hampton.
Do not bet on Howard. You learned last week. Don't bet on Howard.
Don't bet on Howard.
Okay, but what if they run the ball, Kofi?
No, they are not
No,
going to
they are not beating Hampton. They is not. No.
Hey,
Okay.
what did George Bush say? If fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool get fooled again. So that's exactly. Don't get fooled twice, Ron.
Hampton, we out here, man.
Anyway, and then the last game on the MEAC side is North Carolina A&T at my school. Currently, I'm in law school at North Carolina Central. I actually think this is going to be a decent game, but I probably will give it to A&T.
I think Central's going to win that game.
Yeah.
What you say, so?
I think Central's going to win that game.
Ooh,
You think Central? Okay.
That's a
I
big
do.
game. I got the T. I got A&T.
I think it's going to be actually a really good game, though. Like, it's going to be a competitive game between.
I think Central's going to win the MEAC this year.
Hey, period.
That's a hot take. We gonna get into the game breakdown in a little bit. We're about to get into the breakdown a little bit.
All I know is if Coach Washington loses the Central, his hot seat is going to be really on hot. It's going to be really on fire. They're going to be ready to get rid of him for real.
Well, the only thing you can say is give him his money.
Give me my money.
Give me my money.
All right, on the SWAC side, we got Mississippi Valley against Tarleton.
Tarleton.
Yeah, that's Tarleton. That's the game. Yeah, they're playing right now. You know, so
what's the
Oh,
score?
is that 8? Okay. 8.
let me look it up.
Now, Valley could surprise there, but I would go with Tarleton.
I wouldn't hold my breath. I'm rooting for Valley. I think they got a chance. I think they're gonna look good, but I actually picked them to show some SWAC pride. I'm pulling for them, but it's gonna be tough.
It's 7-0 right now in the first quarter with 3 minutes left. So
7-0 who?
Tarleton got 7, Mississippi Valley got 0, and Mississippi Valley moving the ball right now. Look like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe that was a first drive play. Anyway, Alabama A&M against UAB. Okay.
UAB.
When's that? Saturday?
I
I'm
got
assuming?
A&M.
That's tonight.
That's tonight.
tonight?
That's tonight too. Yeah,
That's tonight too.
Yeah.
UAB and A&M?
Oh,
Yeah.
UAB. Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, and right now that's kind of 21 skunk. UAB has 21. Alabama A&M has 0.
That's the game. Next.
Yeah.
Next.
GCU at Miami.
Oh yeah,
Miami.
that's the next. Yeah,
Next.
that's next. That's
Next.
He want to keep it short with his BCU, huh?
Well, look, no. This is Coach Christabel's first game as head coach at the University of Miami.
Mhm.
Those boys want to play for him. They've got a lot of positive momentum. I do think that Cookman has the ability. They're going to play with a ton of energy. And I don't think that Kamari Everett is coverable. But they're not going to win that game. So, yeah.
No, they won't. I do believe Bethune going to have a good year this year, though.
Yeah, better than last year.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Miles College v. Alabama State.
Alabama
Alabama
State.
State 2-0.
They better win that game.
Alabama State.
They better score over 28.
They're coming off a high, winning against Howard.
28.
Right?
Yeah, 28.
Stephen F. Austin v. Alcorn State.
Yeah.
Now, this is the game the
Yeah.
SWAC totally has to have.
Yeah.
This is our opportunity to make a statement.
Yeah.
They're at home. And I think Stephen F. Austin is okay, but I don't think that they're championship level. I think you're going to see what Alcorn has straight up. And Alcorn needs to get this W for the SWAC, for the culture.
Yeah, they do. My only issue is I think if this was next season, I would totally go with Alcorn. But that's one issue I think I have with a lot of the SWAC teams, because if you notice, outside of Andrew Body and Shador, and now since Musa is coming in, everybody's bringing in a brand new quarterback, and a lot of different offenses. So it's like there's so much uncertainty on top of it being the first game. I really want. I agree. I really want Alcorn to pull it out, but it's so many question marks,
Yeah.
I got you. And Stephen F. Austin played last week. They lost big, but that was a Division I team. So, I said for the culture, Dex. That's for the culture. Means I'm
So, you think they're gonna win?
Don't do that.
Oh, shoot. Let's go.
Until, now, again, if I was betting my life, which is what you have to go through when you're picking a game, right? If I'm betting my life, I'm not, until the SWAC starts beating these PWIs consistently, I'm not betting on the SWAC. So, it just is what it is. We just got to do better in that area and start beating these PWIs so they start respecting us. Like when Della Reese was beating Eddie Murphy in Harlem Nights, and she was saying, "You gonna learn to respect me." That's what the SWAC got to do.
I'm gonna shoot them off. I'm gonna shoot that. I'm gonna shoot that nod little thing.
Oh, you gonna shoot my picket toe, huh?
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Let's get to this Southern game, guys.
Ain't nobody. We ain't got to worry about that game. Next.
I know, right? Oh, wait, you know what? Nobody mentioned Southern has the easiest pathway to win the division.
No, they don't. Where you get that from?
Who you say?
Southern.
Why do you say that?
win what division?
Look at their schedule.
Okay, they got the whole SWAC West. I don't think it's easy.
I
Okay.
don't think it's easy.
I don't think it's easy. You got to beat
Okay,
Grambling,
then-
who beat you last year. Okay.
No, here's the
You
thing.
gotta beat-
You got to factor in the non-conference schedule. Every non-conference game is a cupcake. Because here's the thing. It's tailor-made for a new quarterback, new coach. I got 3 easy non-conference games. So the thing is, I have no resistance, and I can use those cupcakes to work out the kinks for me to get into conference play. Then on the west side, look at their toughest games and look at the games that they have at home. Their toughest division games are at home. Minus who? FAMU. That's it. They got FAMU and Jackson on the road. Every other tough game they have is at home.
Well, FAMU and Jackson State on the road ain't exactly no
That
cupcakes.
ain't easy at all.
I mean, I get it. But here's the thing. I get it. But the East is a tougher division. They're going to cannibalize themselves in the West.
Here's what I'm gonna say. What was the score with Southern and Prairie View last year?
I don't recall.
Oh, I.
It was a blowout on their
Southern and
homecoming.
Prairie View.
Yeah, it was a
It was a blowout.
It
Southern,
was definitely a blowout.
Prairie View blew Southern out on their homecoming. All right. So I don't think that game is going to be easy. Andrew Body is not going to be an easy out for Southern University either.
Everybody.
Yeah. So I don't think they have as easy a path as you might suggest. Because, again, when you play these games, these are physical ball games. They play Valley, too, don't they?
So just as a recap, I can
Can you
actually
pull up
tell
their
you the
schedule? Can somebody
here.
pull up their schedule?
Shit,
Listen, I got you.
Robin about she got it.
They
they do
play.
play Valley.
I'm just gonna go in order of the games that they
We got
play.
Valley at home.
Florida Memorial at home.
Okay, that's a W.
LSU, go Tigers.
That's a loss.
Bad.
Lost. Texas Southern on the road.
That's a maybe.
I think that's a loss too. Because
Pine
of LSU.
Bluff at home.
That's a win.
That's a W.
Yeah.
Prairie View on the road.
That's a maybe.
That's
Because that's Dooley's former team, and his team is gonna be pissed that he left them like that. They're gonna be fired up. It is not gonna be.
Yeah, but they're depleted though. They're depleted. They lost all their best players.
I don't know about all.
Not
It's
all,
something
but-
about motivation. When a team is motivated, and you talking about college kids, and the fact that he's coming back to Dallas.
Yeah, the thing about that is you gotta have.
For that game.
But the thing about that is you gotta have some talent behind that anger. I mean, they could be mad all they want to, if they ain't got no punch behind it, they just gonna be mad and take that.
You see the movie Rudy?
I did.
Did you see the movie Rudy?
Next game, Alcorn.
Waterboy, you ain't see Waterboy?
Listen,
Mama said,
Alcorn. They play Alcorn at home.
There are no Vicky Valancourts at Southern.
All right.
Y'all not gonna go do my state like that.
All right, sorry.
Y'all not gonna
Sorry
do my
about
state
that.
like
All
that.
right, so you said the last game I heard was Prairie View. Now what come after that?
Alcorn State at home.
That ain't easy.
Nah, that's a loss.
Virginia Lynchburg.
Yeah, they're gonna beat you. They're gonna beat.
Ain't nobody here.
That's a W.
Jackson State on the road.
That ain't no easy game.
That's a hard game. Yeah.
FAMU on the road right after.
That ain't no easy
Jackson
game.
State on the road.
That's a hard game.
Mississippi Valley at home.
After them two games, that game ain't gonna be easy.
And then Bayou Classic, Gremlin State.
After them 3 games, the Bayou Classic is never easy, but that definitely ain't gonna be easy.
No, this is not gonna be easy this year.
That's tough. I mean, if they play right, it all plays into their hands every game. Every game is different. Every game is like you don't know what to expect. To be honest,
Well, it just seems like all of their most trying and challenging games are toward the end of their season.
I'm not gonna lie. I think LSU is gonna beat them so bad they're gonna lose the next game too.
All right. All right.
I'm
There might be a little
Okay.
They're gonna be beat up, tired, and
That-
ready to give up.
I don't like your mama. I done came in here and cooked this nigga cooking, and all y'all doing is leaving these clothes.
It might actually be a good game now.
Andrew Body and them beat them last year.
Listen, it may be a good game. Half of them went to high school together, so just
Right.
different schools.
Yeah. But shoot, I was gonna try to talk about that South Carolina State game, but look like they getting dogged out right now, so ain't really no
What's the
chance.
score now?
Shoot, just survive next week. It's probably still the same score.
What?
Oh yeah, it's 28-3. Oh yeah, it ain't no chance.
That's still
They
playing.
It's
yeah.
halftime. Yeah, it's halftime. Ain't no chance. Yeah, ain't no chance.
No.
Yeah, so
you're not coming back from that. Next game, TSU VE Washington.
That's really not that bad.
Now this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, this is gonna be So go ahead and talk about it.
This is going to be a good game. Outside of Jackson State, the one team that intrigues me the most is Tennessee State. When you look at people think about celebrity coaches, Eddie George is not Deion Sanders, but he's Nashville version of it. And it's a different paradigm to it because, he's inbred in that city and in that culture, being that he lived there and played for the Titans. So it's on a different scale, but it's still one and the same. He has a great staff. They've recruited themselves very, very well. And they learned some things throughout last season. They won the offseason. They really, really did. And then you look at what they brought back, what they have, and to know that you add an offensive player of the year from the OVC into your team with the dynamic running back, adding some high profile receivers. The line play was actually okay, but they even upgraded the line as well. Tennessee State has made some really, really good moves. Now, granted, again, it's going to be a tough sled to pull when you're talking about going to Eastern Washington and win that game. But the reason why this game intrigues me is because Tennessee State's style of play and what they want to do is the exact thing that works against everything that Eastern Washington wants to do. You know, they're going to take the air out the ball. Tennessee State want to run and play good defense. And if Tennessee State is able to keep this thing close, I think they can actually pull this out. I believe Eastern Washington is going to win because they're at home, but it would not surprise me if Tennessee State can actually win this thing by 2 or 3 points. If it's close, we're going late to the fourth quarter, Tennessee State can very seriously win this game.
I don't know, man. I got Eastern Washington winning big, man. Well, not.
Did he freeze? Oh, Jerry, you good? Oh yeah, he did. Sure, I got you, Jerry. I think TSU probably. I think they're gonna pull it out this week, just because the fact of what's going on last week, and they want to make this a statement game before they go in, into playing Jackson State in that classic game. I know it's bad blood between y'all two, though. That game, I think that game is really gonna be good, and it's really gonna be a test. I say it's more so of a test for TSU because of what they have to prove. Like, everybody want them to be in the swag. Everybody say, why would you go outside, of your comfort zone or going in a conference and, playing that way? But at the end of the day, they have the recruits. They have the coach. So, all those factors lined up and, just trying to play off the hype of not looking forward, but just trying to make a statement into next week as far as, the Jackson State game, the classic game. I think they're gonna come out, strong, and I think they're gonna come out, with the dub this game. Go ahead, Jerry.
I was talking about Eastern Washington before my computer decided to kind of go off on me. But I think Eastern Washington will probably win this game by a lot. They had a really good season last year. I believe they had a 10-win season last year. And going against TSU, I don't see them changing that record around very much. TSU has a great coach in Eddie George. I mean and Eddie, but I don't think they're going to do too much against Eastern Washington.
TSU has a legitimate chance to win this game. They've got the athletes. It just comes down. These games come down to understanding who you are, believing in what you do, and going out and executing. I remember when FAMU used to play Georgia Southern, right? And we used to play them over in Jacksonville. And I think in 1987, we were 41-point underdogs to Georgia Southern. They were the defending national champs. And they came into that game and, doing what they do. But FAMU ended up winning that game, and we're the only HBCU to defeat Georgia Southern, by the way. But I just wanted to say,
let them know that.
I just wanted to put that out there, that Tennessee State is a traditional program. Like, it's one of the all-time winningest programs in college football. And Eddie George knows how to win these games, which, of course, is, especially on the road, what do? Run the ball, play good defense. Run the ball, play good defense. Run the ball,
Tennessee Titans,
third down,
and that's their strength.
Defense, don't turn the ball over, and you have an opportunity to win. And I think that he's instilled that measure of belief in his players. I think that they're going to be fired up to go out there and improve. They've been hitting each other all month, and they want to go out there and show that they really belong. And they play in a real good football conference. I won't say really, really good, but they play in a decent football conference.
They do.
Where they see some quality teams that play a lot like Eastern Washington. And again, if you understand just the concept of playing football and you're mentally prepared to go into that environment, you can have success. So we gonna see.
Definitely. We're about to go into this next game. The Aggie Eagle Classic. This is a big game, And in the Carolinas, really, just I ain't even gonna say North Carolina. It's a big game in both of the Carolinas, South and North. So, Jerry, me and you from the Carolinas, so we already know. You already know what's surrounding this game: the hype, the pageantry. The boys. Jerry, talk about the game right quick. Your key sayings on which team has the better outcome of winning.
This is an Aggie Eagle Classic, like he said. It's going to be played at the Panther Stadium, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. It's usually not played there. It's usually played at one of the school stadiums. So it's been a lot of emphasis on this game in the past year. Everybody's been talking junk. Everybody's been saying, Central's going to win, A&T is going to win. But from my perspective, seeing Central, I don't know if their team is mature enough to compete with them A&T boys right now.
Oh, wow.
I got A&T coming out on top. A&T has always had a very good program. I don't see that changing too much this year, especially when they were in the MEAC. They were always winning a lot of games and winning the conference. But for what's going on right now, I think A&T will take this game away.
So, I don't know yet, because I think Central, if they're going to do it, this, of course, needs to be the year where they have that shift. This is not just any regular game. This is like a rivalry game. And in a rivalry game, anything can happen. The thing that really that causes it to go in the opposite direction, or rivalry games or any big game, like I said, is turnovers. Central has an experienced QB. They have a good running game. They have good special teams. They are well coached. They can beat A&T, and especially with this being the first game. Now I don't know who A&T's QB is. I know that they're in a pretty physical conference, but they haven't played a football game, and they haven't played a rivalry game. Like, I would not want to play a rivalry game at the beginning of the year. It is crazy. Big. And then you have to come down off of that high from that game to come down and play another game. And it's not going to be nearly or mean the same amount. But trust and know Central is going to throw everything in the sink at North Carolina A&T. And my dad went to Central, so I'm going to pick Central.
I tell you what, I really believe that if you look at the totality of last season, Central overachieved last year. If you really look at the totality of last season, but also Central's trending upward. I co-sign everything you said, Kofi. They have, experience and continuity at quarterback coming back. They have the better running back room. They didn't lose that many starters. They had pretty much the bulk of their team coming back, and they're trending upward. Now, just oppose that with A&T. A&T went to a new conference. They had a letdown. They're trending downward. And now you have that different juxtaposition meeting up in the first game. And that's why I still think Central, because I'm going to say this. I think Sam Washington is a decent coach, but I really feel like A&T is trending down because Rob Broadway isn't there. From the recruiting and even from an X&O standpoint. I think Trey Oliver, he is that team is taking on his personality. I really feel like that's the main reason why Central is trending upward. I passed my wagon to him. I really, really believe, because of the quarterback, because of the coach, because they're trending upward, I really believe that Central has a damn good shot to win the MEAC this year. And I think it's going to be a close game because it is the first game, because it is a rivalry game. And I got Central by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't think that down trendward is going because of the conference that they're in?
No, I mean it's tougher competition, but at the same time, it's not so much because they lost; it's how they look when they lost. They don't look the same. It's because, again, you can get better and lose. You know what I'm saying? It's not the wins and losses; it's how they looked. Like go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's not just that, but they went into the game against Hampton basically like, we A&T, and Hampton was like,
okay,
please. It was like, child, please, whatever. And Hampton ran them out of the stadium. It
Wow,
wasn't
man, they
close.
took their blood off and gave it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So
I don't know what to expect from this A&T.
And so that's why I say, because it's, to me, mentioning the conference is low hanging fruit because they didn't look good in the non-conference games as well.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying they're trending downward. Then you look at what juxtaposed what Central was doing, and again they're trending upward. Again, it's going to be a close game because A&T still has talent. You know what I mean? And they're recruiting well still. So it's not going to be anything of that nature. But I got Central by 3. I would not be surprised if they win it. I still think when it comes to the conference, though, I think the winner. And let me not just say automatically. I think Central's going to win the MEAC. Let me change that. I believe the winner of the Central South Carolina State game will win the MEAC. Let me change that.
hey, hold up, time out, guys, time out. For this comment right here is asinine. This comment right here is asinine. I don't know what you drinking tonight. You must be feeling real good, but yeah.
We got. Look, I mean, that's a hot take, man. But we can't be so quick to jump off everything off one game. It's the first game of the year. It's a long season, and everybody's not going to. No team is going to jump off first game of the season. I got a quarterback that's going to complete 70% of his passes, throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, and if you get that, how many quarterbacks are going to do it? You know what I mean? You can count them on one hand.
Hey, I know one guy that had a really great game, his first game of the season. 279 now.
Huh?
Sure. He talking about Musa. Oh my God.
Yeah, Jeremy Musa now 279, 28 for 39, 2 touchdowns ain't bad.
Okay.
I mean, it was okay, but again, how many performances is that? That's one. You prove my point.
It's not a lot.
You prove my point. It's one.
So are you saying, Zoe, that we're going to have an advantage over JSU since that's going to be your first game against FAM?
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying that at all. Because remember what I said. We had
I'm just going to what you said.
No, but I also said that we have continuity. We have the majority of our team coming back. We have the number one player, number one with the highest rated recruit in history on our team as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
the math wasn't mathing before.
It's mathing. And it's not that little formula math they're doing either. It's regular 1 + 1.
It's regular 1 + 1.
It ain't the one Beyonce talking about.
I don't know. We good. I listen to Jay-Z.
Okay. Let me go ahead and talk about this game right quick. North Carolina A&T don't need to be the little brother no more. They need to grow up. They need to be the little big brother this game. They need to pound on them anytime they can get the Central.
Oh, okay.
Central don't need to be the little brother no more.
I thought you said the other way around too.
He did, but he didn't mean it.
My bad. I'm glad you corrected me. Y'all should have corrected me. But yeah,
look,
Central,
I asked.
He ain't mean it.
Yeah, you did. But Central, they don't need to be the little brother no
So,
more.
Robert, who do you got?
Oh, I got Central for sure.
She
But
got
let me tell you this. The reason why I haven't, because I remembered from last couple actually North Carolina, like A&T won like the last 4 games of the matchup. Neither here nor there. I will say last year, if we're comparing from last year to this year, right? Central was not as healthy as I feel like as they are now. And I feel like that's going to be a huge advantage for them to be able to make something shake. Right now, I just got to Central, and prior to Central, I wasn't following Central. I was more, an A&T. Like that was my second team besides FAMU. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be that. I got Central because of the bias, but I also felt like it's actually going to be a good game. It's not going to be like the last previous years where it's like a big blowout or A&T just hot and running and North Carolina or Central can't catch up. I think it's actually going to be a competitive game. They're going to be able to make some plays and make it so that it's like you said, maybe winning by 3. If it's that, I'm cool with that. It's a dub at the end of the day. So.
Plus, you got to attest to this. Me and Jerry know, like, these games usually played in October. This game is playing in warm weather.
Yeah.
If this game was playing in October
it's at a Central site
or
too.
like November, that too.
Yeah.
It'll be totally different because you have the weather factor. You don't know if you're playing in the day or night. So like this game is really perfect. It's the perfect timing for it because playing in November in South Carolina in the mountains, North Carolina in the mountains, it ain't no joke, man.
No, yeah. And
You
it's
did
nice.
say
It's gonna be
it's
some
played at
nice weather now.
a neutral site, but from what I've seen, North Carolina A&T, they travel very well. Central travels decent from what I've seen. They're gonna be in Charlotte. Definitely gonna be in Charlotte. I think they're gonna be packed out in
So what do you
And
think the
it's
ratio is going to be?
100th anniversary. If y'all didn't know,
Me?
this is the 100th anniversary.
Yeah, what do you think the ratio is going to be of the crowd?
I know Central gonna show up.
I said about 30. I
if it
said
ain't
about
50,
30
it's gonna be
something.
60-40.
Because
that's about the same 60-40.
Because you got
55.
60-40? But who? 60-40 who?
Maybe a lot.
Central.
55. Yeah, somewhere in there. It's gonna be a
55.
close. It's not gonna be a big amount of a difference. But
Yeah,
I mean,
Okay.
I do know
had the
that
largest. They had the largest HBCU.
right.
So, it's a bigger school. So they're going to have more alums. It's first game. It's Charlotte. There you go.
And for another reason, I know a lot of alums in Charlotte that are from North Carolina A&T. And I mean, that may be because of Charlotte is not very far from North Carolina A&T, but it's not very far from Durham either.
No, yeah, it's 2
about-
hours from Durham.
2 hours from Durham.
30 minutes, not nothing.
Right. So, but I mean, I think North Carolina A&T has a larger fan base in Charlotte than North Carolina Central. But I think that for the game, I got A&T by 7 by a touchdown.
Sure. For me, I feel like it's gonna be a close game. North Carolina A&T gonna win by field goal. I don't know if it's gonna be like 21-17, but it's gonna be close like that. They're gonna win by a field goal, man. They're gonna win by a field goal. But going into this next game that we want to see, that everybody came to Miami for, your mama came to Miami, your daddy, your grandma, everybody coming down to Southeast to see this game. We got them Jackson State Tigers, the SWAC champs, undefeated in the SWAC, and we got them FAMU Rattlers in the building for me. What's up with y'all? What's up? You better tell Mr. Campbell. Tell Mr. Campbell, strike again. Sure. But go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
Well, a couple things that we may want to, pull out here. Quarterback has to be himself. Definitely. I would like to pose a question though. Okay. Because we kind of touched on this a little bit. So JSU, this is going to be their first game of the season. FAMU has already had a game. Was it the best? No. But at the end of the day, they already got their feet wet. Do y'all believe that FAMU has an advantage, knowing what we know, seeing the plays that we've seen, over JSU at this location in Miami for the first game for their matchup? Do we feel like FAMU has an advantage?
I wouldn't necessarily say an advantage. It depends. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't necessarily know what got FAMU last year was the fact they didn't know what Jackson State was going to run on defense. They didn't know the personnel. They have an idea of much of the personnel that Jackson State has, but this offense and the way this offense is flowing is not necessarily something that they've seen. So it kind of works both ways. I would say that FAMU is going to be more comfortable this year than they were last year. And I would say from an intangible standpoint, FAMU has a little bit of edge. They're going to be playing with an additional chip on their shoulder because, A, they lost last year. They got all this adversity going on. But, then here comes Jackson State when they can't take no baths and they can't cook no food or nothing like that. They had to come down to Miami and everything. So I'm messing with you.
I know.
But at the same time, the water stuff is, but it's adversity. So that sort of thing brings people together. Deion's going to come up with a great motivational speech and say, this is for Jackson. And they're going to come out there and they're going to be fired up. So I can't say that it's necessarily an advantage. They know the stakes that's at this game. They know how big this game is. Everybody's going to be watching. I wouldn't say necessarily advantage, but I would say that it was good for FAMU to get game one in.
Yeah.
No, it's not an advantage. I don't believe there's an advantage for either team. Honestly, I think in this game with these two particular schools, I think the only quasi advantage would be the issue with FAMU losing 2 offensive linemen last week. Being the first game, being it's going to be in Miami with the humidity, and what I'm assuming is going to be a fast-paced game with what we're planning on doing. You got to figure, depth is going to play a part. Say into the second half. I think that's the only thing that you could say. Outside of that, because it's going to depend on how many linemen they're down, and that's God forbid we got to factor in injury on both teams going to that game as well. That's it. If FAMU were to lose another lineman, that could play in the hand. But that's for an advantage standpoint. That's it. Other than that, nah. They've been looking forward to this game on both sides for too long, and both teams have different things they want to get out of this game. FAMU felt slighted, from having a 1-point loss. Knowing that that was the one thing that kept them from winning the SWAC, even though they was bragging on saying they wanted to win the MEAC in their last year, win the SWAC their first year. And we were the roadblock that prevented them from doing that. Then you look at Jackson State, whereas, okay, we heard the noise all year. We got a 1-point win, and, we didn't look the best, in that last game. In that first game, I'm sorry. And also just want to, as Coach Prime would say, jump into being a dominant team. And, I feel like, to me, in my opinion, I'm going to use domination for every game that's on the schedule. And so I told everybody we're going to get our D on Sunday.
So for me, I'll take a couple points that you both of y'all said. For me, I think FAMU does have an advantage. They have an advantage because they have already played, and that is actually a huge advantage to me. Playing football, playing college football, that first game is always you're the most nervous. You don't know if you're well prepared. You don't know if you know the plays 100%. You don't know if you have enough endurance to last the whole game. And for FAMU to come out there and hit, some of y'all talking bad about FAMU, but FAMU came out there and was playing with them boys until the fourth quarter. They was really playing good ball until the fourth quarter. To do that is a confidence booster. To play, Carolina into the fourth quarter, that's like, hey, we all right. We didn't get blown out. We end up getting blown out. We played good until the fourth quarter. So to me, I'm still riding pretty high. Like I'm feeling good. Going into this Jackson State game, but to go to your point, Zoe, I do think missing those 2 linemen. We had Reyes, the starting left tackle. He did get hurt. He was in something with his knee, I believe, and then Crawford, number 56. I think he had a sling on as well. So that's going to be the most important thing, to win this game is to have offensive line depth.
Is Shiloh out?
Yeah, Shiloh out.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out with this game.
Yeah, but
go ahead,
Ron. All right. So this game is like I said, it's the same as last year. Whoever wins this game literally is going to win the SWAC championship. Just for Jackson State side, like you said, Zoe, dominate. That's what Deion Sanders has been saying all last year and this year. Dominate at your position, dominate at the rep. Just dominate in practice. This joker walking around, dominate, eat lunch. It don't matter what you do. Prime time gonna be yelling, dominate every time. So just coming off that, you got a 5-star. You got the Jerry Rice Award a winner. You got a Liam offensive line. You got the NFL coaches. You got that defense that's going to come hit your mouth every time if you back that quarterback. And just for that, for Jackson State is a testament. Like you have to win this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like Jackson State got to win this game. And for just for FAMU side, we saw what worked last week. And we know we're going to face adversity this week too, as far as, a whole different defense, a blitz and defense as that. And, throwing the ball, you got to throw the ball quick. You got to run the ball in certain gaps. You got, and as far as the secondary, you got to at least be physical. I ain't saying if you get beat, as long as you get beat being physical, I'd rather a flag than a 50-yard touchdown down the field and you see Travis Hunter doing the gritty in the end zone. Be physical, man. Be physical out there. So just for those are a key takes, and like Jerry said, the offensive line gotta stand up. They gotta stand up for FAMU. But my score for this game is literally going to be, I think 31 to 20, 24. 31 to 24.
Who you say? Who's gonna win?
Nike school, FAMU. Yeah, sure. We got that Musa juice. Y'all got the Jackson State juice. We got the Musa juice going on for
Musa.
Musa.
After one game,
yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, he looked. Hey, for one game, he looked to me. To be honest with you, all respect to Sean McKay, he looked like you could tell that's a whole different quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like just like this. When you saw the LA Rams last year before Matthew Stafford came, it was a different offense. It wasn't the offense that the coach wanted. Then when you see Matthew Stafford come back there, you be like, this is a whole new damn team. Where the hell where all this coming from? It's just like that. It's a whole new team when the quarterback back there and he just throwing downs like Chris Paul.
Like I say, I look. No one with eyes can take anything from him. He looked good. I mean, no one can deny that. He looked good. But I ask you this though, he looked good last week. So that was first game of the season, and you should get better from your first game to your second game. So what if he struggled and have a bad game Sunday? Then what are we gonna say?
Look, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, fam. Look, we're not there.
That bridge ain't nowhere
you
in
say
sight.
He's gonna get better. All right.
Well,
I just asked the question. I didn't think it was gonna happen. I just asked the question.
And here's the deal. For me, I believe, in the words of Bill Parcells, we ain't sending them to Canton just yet. Mm-hmm. It was one game. And so putting it in perspective, I'm pleased with, I'm not worried about FAMU secondary. Now, I will say from what's my man's name? Marquise Bell, who just recently made the Cowboys team. Mm-hmm. Want to give him kudos for that. I think that's amazing. Collier, who is still out there, but that duo was amazing. And they were extremely physical. They were really, really good. But I believe Jordan Moore is going to be back this week. So our secondary should be in pretty good shape. It's going to be interesting to see, again, that matchup with the Jackson State wide receivers. But more importantly, if J-State is simply one-dimensional by having to throw the ball all the time, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be beneficial for them. I think that to beat FAMU, you have to be able to achieve balance. And if they're throwing all the time, I believe it's a sign that Jackson State's offensive line has not improved. And they're in the same place that they were last year. So, for me, having watched this FAMU defense, is going to be interesting to see, if they can, maintain the intensity for all four quarters, depth-wise or whatever. I don't want my defense out there for 40 minutes out of the game. I think that's a bad line. It's a recipe for disaster. And they have to get off the field on third down. Shadur is not known to be like a Michael Vick type runner, but I believe that he's more athletic than May was. So, facing a mobile QB, I wouldn't necessarily qualify him as a dual threat QB, but you want to be able to keep him in front of you at all times. So I want to see the scheme. I want to see the execution. That being said, I do believe FAMU's going to win this game. I believe that this has been a long 365, and I'm just going to say FAMU's going to win by 10. Begin.
Well, look, before I even dive in, I do want to say this. If you guys listen to us on Tiger Talk, the 1400 Club, there's one player in particular for FAMU that I absolutely love, and he has the best name in all of college football. A D lineman named Gentle Hunt's the best name in all of college football. I think it's a dope football name, Gentle Hunt. But I really think that again, I really feel like, I'm gonna be honest, I really feel like there's a talent disparity that we have even still. Yeah, every team in the SWAC is upgraded, but I believe that where they upgraded to where we were last year. We've superseded, we raised the bar. I really believe like there's not a defensive secondary that can match our wide receiver room in any shape or any capacity. Again, the main thing with us is not even all the other positions. It really just come down to the O-line play, and I really believe that we upgraded that room. Coincidentally, we've added even another O-lineman in last week, matter of fact. But only thing we got to worry about is just get some continuity in. And we also added the leading returning rusher in the MEAC, who's actually going to get a lot of burn, is Savion Wilkerson, who's been looking really, really good at practice. You factor that in with him as well as J.D. Martin, and we get another running back who didn't play in the game against FAMU last year, which is our previous starter, Tyson Alexander, who's a great back coming out of the backfield. Then you mentioned the fact that we didn't even utilize a tight end last year. We have great tight ends now. We have, I like to say, a Kyle Pitts clone and Jesse Riley coming in at 6'5.5", 220 pounds, and runs a 4.5 flat. We didn't even utilize tight ends last year.
Y'all got him from Clemson or South Carolina?
Huh?
I said, is that the one from Clemson or South Carolina?
No, Kevin Mullins is the 4-star from South Carolina who's backing him up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You got another Hayden Hagler who's another 3-star behind him. That's why I said like we've widened that gap, and I really feel like again what we're going to do on offense, we're going to attack. Yes, Malachi is out for the game, but I mean we're so deep a receiver, it's ridiculous. Just like Shane Hooks didn't play in the game last year. And Malachi, for example, like Malachi didn't even play in the game last year against FAMU, and he led the conference in touchdown with 12 catches, 12 touchdown receptions in only 7 games. And then, like I said, you got to add a Kevin Coleman. You got Travis Hunter, who's going to play on both sides. And there's not a player in the country who has Travis Hunter ball skills. But, again, I think it's still going to come down, even with all their talent, it's going to come down to turnovers. It always does. It's going to come down to, in our end, special teams, because we were horrendous on special teams last year. That's going to show its head at some point as well, because we got 2 very similar athletic teams. But I think what we are with our receivers, with quarterback play, because Shedeur is taking a step forward, which everybody will see. The guy's phenomenal. He's gotten a little bit bigger, and he has full command of this offense. I really, really, really see us losing. I mean, see us winning 14+.
You had it right the first time.
I really did. And let me say this too. Kofi really don't want to say that we gonna lose because Kofi got a lot of Jacktown in him. Y'all don't know that.
I know that. I know that. I know that. But I'm glad you had some athletes.
Who froze?
I thought somebody froze.
His screen froze. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
I couldn't understand what he was saying.
Just to name these athletes that's out here, you name a couple of them just for your side. Like, you can't forget about Xavier Smith. Can't forget about Jennings and about backfield and McLeod and Davis. And, just like you say, Geno Hunt. Then you got Travis Hunter. Like, you have all, like, for me, like, this is a game where you have all these NFL talents. Like, this game is literally a scout game. Like, there's no way that Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins and the Atlanta Falcons and, just the Carolina Panthers, they're probably going to be at they're going to be everywhere this weekend for the Panthers because they got a game in their stadium. Then they got to come down to Miami, like
Yeah.
you know, just to have all this skill position and all these O line and D line. I forgot about the boy's name, Aubrey Miller. Like that dude is going to show out this season. And another linebacker for our side, Isaiah Major. Like we have all this talent, and like you said, this game is going to come down to special teams that both our teams was bad at last year. We were bad, and literally turnovers. Who's going to last the longest? That's what the game is about. You know, this Sunday, who's going to last the longest?
Does anybody know if BJ is playing?
BJ said he's like 50-50. He don't know, and you know, it's day by day.
Okay.
And so you go back to last year's game. That was one major component of last year's game. You know, we had, if I remember correctly, we had 3 turnovers last year. You know, the only saving grace in that game was that, you know, again, first game, and the defense, you know, was able to hold up. And the only time that defense did hold up was on the field goal block, which was just before the half. You know, but outside of that, you know, there were tons of big plays because I think we got only 1 turnover from you guys. That's when we were actually about to score, and Bishop Bonnet came and ripped the ball out the linebacker's arms, which would been a huge change in that game. So, like Kofi stated, turnovers, and again, it's every football game. Typically, who wins the turnover battle is going to win, but it reared its ugly head in the game last year.
It was raining. It was 3-2. It's gonna rain in the afternoon. It's gonna be physical. It's gonna be energetic. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. Shoot, and that's about it, guys. You know, I was gonna do a little game of over and under, but I ain't gonna do it this week. I'm gonna do it next week. But thank you, guys. Man, thank you, Zoe, for coming on.
Let's go.
Zoe was last night, man. I hit him up last. I emailed him last night, and you know, I know a couple of y'all probably down there in Miami are trying to get ready to go to Miami. So thank you, Tiger Talk. I want to say personally, thank you, Tiger Talk. Thank you, JSU fans. If you're watching this, thank y'all. Thank you, Zoe, for coming in at the last minute. You know, I asked Mr. Campbell. I was like, Mr. Campbell, I need somebody from Jackson State. And he was like, all right, this is what you do. You hit them boys up. And I was like, all right, cool, I got you. And Kofi, thank you for coming in, man. I know a lot been going on with the school and you and everything. So, man, thank y'all too, man.
Appreciate you, man. Love you guys.
Believe it or not, I actually watched the show, man. Big ups to you. You guys doing great work. I love to see the unity, you know what I'm saying, among all the different outlets that we have. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, continue to strive, man. Continue to do what you do because, believe it or not, man, you never know who's watching because I actually do watch you. I love what you're doing. Kofi, I've been watching you and antagonizing you for the longest. But, you know, found out you got folks with the Callaway. You all right with me, man. Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here, man. Good luck to y'all for the rest of the year, too, man.
Let's go.
Love
you guys.
Thank you. All right, guys. We'll definitely see y'all. And people, thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the Tiger Talk 1400. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the ONG Strike Zone. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you like, subscribe, and share to Bridges on Top, Pre-Snap Read. We here. I know I won't be in Miami. Any of y'all gonna be in Miami?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Definitely.
Well, Pastor knows his word.
I'm gonna see y'all down there drinking on a little drinking, drink. I don't be drinking that moonshine juice when I'm down there.
Hey, reach out to me after the game, man, so I can show one of my victory cigars with you.
Hey, I take you. No, I'm gonna take you up on that now. All right. So,
if he's getting a victory cigar, it's because we won.
Hey,
you may not be smoking that cigar with lose, Ron.
Hey, man, the last time y'all beat Jack State, I had hair.
Shoot,
and on that note,
funny thing, Willie Simmons is actually going 0-2 into this game, playing Jackson State at FAMU. 0-2, so ready to turn it back around for the Rattlers and Coach Prime. Coach Prime is definitely trying to go 2-0 against the Rattlers. But peace out, guys. It's the Pre-Snap Read with Kofi and Zoe. Peace.
Have a good
Y'all
one.
have it easy, man. Peace out. Be out love.
Peace out.
Hey.
Mhm.